Hi peeps, welcome to class. So Sarah and I are going to take you through a joint freeing exercise. And you can use this for any, like in the morning or the evening or the middle of the day, depending upon what your schedule is like. So we're going to get started in a Dandasana with your feet out in front of you. We're going to start out with just some simple flexions and extensions. You're going to point your toes and flex your feet. Point and flex. You're just going to do that a few times. Now, what people don't know is there's no muscles in the feet. It's ligaments and tendons. So while you're doing this, you're also stimulating the muscles in your leg channels as well, which is always helpful. We're going to layer on by starting to make circles. So you can just start to roll your ankles around. Maybe you hear some snapping or cracking. We're going to go the opposite direction as well. And then when we come back to center, you want to bring your feet together. And as you bring your feet together, you want to see if you can get the balls of your feet to come together. It's an interesting stretch. And you're going to hold this for about 5 breaths. So in through the nose and out at the same time. And just keep working on trying to get your baby toes to touch each other. It's actually a really nice stretch. And we'll release. We're going to work on the knee joint next. So let's bring the right foot in. And you can either hold at the foot or below the thigh bone. You're just going to lift the right leg up towards the sky. We're just going to lift and lower the foot up a few times, working on getting into the knee. Now, the knee is a hinge. This is the only direction it goes in, front and back. So a lot of times, if we find ourselves in a yoga class, we attempt to try to do more things through the knee than the hip flexor. So this is a great self-awareness technique. We'll release the right leg down. We'll go right to the other side. The left leg will come in and lift and lower. Feel that connection in the knee between the foot and your thigh bone. We're going to do one more here. We'll bring that left leg down. Now you're going to go into a wide-legged straddle. So you're going to separate your feet. And maybe you want to move your fleshy part a little bit to make some room. And it can be very helpful if you lean back a little bit so that you can start to just rock your feet back and forth. Now the whole idea in this rocking is you want to feel it coming from the hip flexor. So even if you place your hands there and you feel that femur bone as it goes back and forth, you can feel how that joint works between the leg and the hip. This is the hip joint is what you want to get into whenever you're doing a vinyasa class. So when I say knee over the baby toe, it's because I'm trying to get you to articulate through this part of the physical body. And then you're going to come back to center, just turn your feet out, so see if you can get your baby toes to touch the ground. Nice external rotation here. A lot like you would practice like if you were doing frog pose. This is also warrior 2 foot. Then we're going to switch. You're going to bring your feet back to center. Now you're intended to try to bring them in towards the midline. This is pronating. Now don't follow my lead. This is as far as I go on pronating. But for some of you, you're natural pronators, so your big toes should be able to touch the ground no problem. That's the challenge when we observe other people, is sometimes we limit ourselves unknowingly. We're going to come back to center, relax those legs, just lean back so you can pull your ankles in. We're going to move into a tabletop position. So you can just roll right onto your knees and then onto your hands. And then start your cat-cows once you've got your setup where your hands are underneath your shoulders. You start to tuck the chin in around the spine. And then on the inhale, you look up towards the sky. So if you haven't had this opportunity to incorporate your breath yet, this might be the time to do it. Inhale, find cow. And then on your exhale, find cat. Again, inhale, find cow. Exhale, find cat. So good. Try to really work into the lower back a little bit more. And we'll meet back at center. We'll extend the right leg back. What I'd like you to do is flex and point through the toes. Now as you're doing that, put pressure in the ball of the arch of your foot, the ball of your foot, the demi point, so that your toes start to get a bigger stretch as well. And you can notice how they influence the calf muscles or even your hamstring attachments. We use this action a lot from high plank to low plank in Skandasana in a variety of different ways. And we'll bring that right leg back to center, extend the left leg back. And then again, you're going to work on that articulation of moving back and forth. Starting to connect the dots with the movements you're asked to do in a vinyasa class with what you're doing in your joint freeing experience. Now on the next breath, we'll bring the left knee and the right knee together. You'll rock your hips from side to side. So we'll start with the right side. You'll just drop your hips over. And then you'll come back to center. And you'll drop your hips to the left side. And you'll come back to center. Now, initially, it may be that the hips don't come right down to the ground. But you just keep working the movements with your breath, and that will begin to happen. One more time on the left. We'll come back to tabletop position. We're going to sit on our heels. So as you lean back, you may want to place a block underneath your hips, a little bit of support. And this is also a great stretch for your ankles to be sitting this way as well. We're going to extend our arms out in front of us. Fingertips will go up towards the sky, and then fingertips are going to go towards the floor. We're just going to lift and lower them a few times. Feel that range of motion in your wrists. Try to keep your shoulders soft while you do it. And then we're going to turn our palms up towards the sky. Now bring the pinkies and the fingertips in towards each other and then separate them. And then bring them in and out. And we'll do this a few times because the first few times it just feels odd. But extend your feet and fingertips as far away from each other as you bring them in. And then on the next breath, we'll come back to center, make fists. Now on the fists, we're going to make circles with the fists. And we'll go the other way. And one more time, switch it up. And we're moving our way up into the shoulder girdle. So now we'll release the hands. We'll place them on the shoulders. Start to make circles. So we're closing the elbow so that everything has to happen through the shoulder girdle. And you want to see if you can get your elbows to come in close to each other and touch, and then move them as far away as possible. Now we all have a favorite, so go the opposite direction, whatever that was. We'll come back to center. We're going to make scarecrow arms. Other lineage is called goalie arms. So your hands will come towards the floor while you keep your elbows bent. And then you'll inhale them up. Now feel what happens to the shoulders. They open up the collarbone or they close it. They open the collarbone or close it. So this is why we practice this particular arm movement in vinyasa classes, is because it naturally articulates it without your permission. It just sort of happens. On the next breath, we'll inhale our arms all up towards the sky. We'll sweep the arms back and then up. And exhale back. Inhale up. Again. One more time. Now we'll bring our hands down to the mat. We're going to cross our ankles, come into a seated position, Sukhasana, or otherwise known as easy pose. And in the easy pose, we're going to go back to flexion and extension of the spinal column. So you'll tuck your chin into your chest. And then you'll inhale, lift up. Exhale, you'll tuck your chin into your chest. And again, look up. So notice that in the joint freeing exercise, this comes up more than once. A happy life is a happy spine. And we're going to come back to center from here. Now the left hand is going to come down. I'm going to take the right hand, press on the right knee, drop the right shoulder towards the floor, and then bring it back to center, and then towards the floor, and back to center. Now practice working your gaze, where your gaze goes in the direction you're moving in, versus your movement is going in the direction you're looking in. One more time. We're going to switch. We'll come back to center. The right hand will come down. The left hand's pressing on the left knee. Drop the left shoulder and center. And remember, it's a joint freeing exercise, so try not to make it overcomplicated. We'll come back to center. We're going to do a twisting pose, so the right elbow is going to go to the left knee, look over the left shoulder, and lift your spine and lengthen it. A few breaths here in through the nose and out. And we'll switch sides. The left hand goes to the right knee, the right hand goes behind you, and then find the twist. Last breath here. We'll come back to center. We're going to work the neck. So tuck your chin into your chest, and then take your chin towards the right shoulder. Draw a line, go up towards the ceiling, and then take it over towards the left shoulder. Take it towards the chest. You got it. Take your time. Just working the mobility of your neck. And we'll come back to center. And go to the other side, left shoulder. Chin goes towards the ceiling. Right shoulder and down. So they're big circles. You could close your eyes if that helps you. You can keep your eyes open and build your drishti by staring at the tip of your nose. One more. And we're going to come back to center. We're going to end with yeses. So tuck the chin into the chest and then look up. Now try to keep the spine supple while you just work your neck. Now notice how the chin goes up and down, how it naturally is going to influence the collarbone. Even though they're working separately from each other, they are working together at the same time. Now one more here. And we'll come back to center. We'll bring our hands to prayer at the center of the chest. Thank you so much for joining Sarah and I today for your joint pain exercises. Have a great day. From our hearts to yours, we say namaste.